The massive alien vessel hung like a dark crystal against the pale blue backdrop of Earth's atmosphere. Its sleek metallic surface reflected the sunlight, casting an ominous shadow over the United Global Defense Command Center. Inside the primary communication room, Captain J. Kim stood perfectly still, his hands clasped behind his back, watching the holographic display that showed the approaching spacecraft. The room was silent except for the soft beeping of advanced computer systems and the occasional shuffle of military personnel. Dr. Hai Park stood near the main console, her fingers hovering over complex control panels, her eyes fixed on the intricate data streams flowing across multiple screens. Commander. Tark's face appeared on the main communication channel. His alien features were a mix of reptilian and insectoid characteristics, sharp angles, iridescent skin, and eyes that seemed to change color with each passing second. When he spoke, his voice carried a tone of pure contempt. "Humans of Earth," Tark began, his translator rendering his words in perfect English. "We represent the Galactic Confederation. Your planet has been identified as a potential resource zone. Your current technological status is primitive." The alien commander didn't bother to hide his amusement. His laughter was a strange clicking sound that sent chills down the spines of everyone in the command center. He continued, "Your weapons are laughable. Your defense systems are equivalent to what we considered outdated technology centuries ago." Captain Kim remained expressionless. Years of military training had taught him to control his emotions, to read between the lines of any communication. Dr. Park caught his eye, and for a brief moment they exchanged a knowing glance. Tark's holographic image continued its mocking speech. "We could eliminate your entire civilization with a single energy pulse. Your metallic projectile weapons are museum pieces. Your understanding of quantum mechanics is infantile at best." The alien vessel began to move closer, its massive engines creating a low humming sound that seemed to vibrate through the entire communication center. Military personnel watched with a mixture of fear and anticipation. What Tark didn't know was that Dr. Park and her team had been preparing for this moment for months. Every piece of alien communication they had intercepted, every fragment of technology they had analyzed was now part of an intricate plan. Captain Kim stepped forward, his voice calm and measured. "Commander Tark, we acknowledge your communication. We invite you to discuss terms." The alien commander laughed again, a sound that was more like a series of sharp clicks and electronic buzzes. "Discuss? There is nothing to discuss. Your surrender is expected." But something in Captain Kim's demeanor made Tark pause. It was a subtle change, almost imperceptible, but it was there. A slight smile played on the human captain's lips, something that wasn't fear or submission, but something else entirely. Dr. Park's fingers moved swiftly across her console. Data streams began to shift. Complex algorithms started to compile and hidden subroutines began to activate. To the untrained eye, it looked like standard communication protocol. To someone like her, it was the beginning of something much more significant. The alien vessel continued its approach, its massive size casting a shadow over the Earth's surface. Satellite images showed its incredible scale, a ship that could easily house multiple cities, bristling with energy weapons that could potentially destroy entire continents. But Captain Kim and Dr. Park knew something that Commander Tark did not. They had been waiting, preparing, analyzing. Every moment of this encounter was calculated, every movement planned with precision. As the alien ship drew closer, the tension in the command center became palpable. Military personnel gripped their stations, their breathing controlled, their eyes fixed on the various displays showing the approaching vessel. Commander Tark's final words rang out. "Prepare for integration into the Galactic Confederation. Resistance is futile." Little did he know, resistance was precisely what he was about to encounter. The stage was set. The first move had been made, and humanity was ready. The mountain research facility looked ordinary from the outside. A simple, concrete building nestled among pine trees, with nothing to suggest the extraordinary work happening within its heavily secured walls. Dr. Hai Park walked briskly through multiple security checkpoints, her access card allowing her passage where others would be stopped. Inside the main research lab, holographic displays flickered with alien weapon signatures. Scattered across massive workbenches were fragments of technology recovered from previous alien encounters. Strange metallic components that seemed to pulse with an inner energy. "We need to understand their weakness," Dr. Park told her team of 8 researchers. Her voice was calm but carried an underlying intensity. Young engineers and scientists from various backgrounds hunched over microscopes and quantum scanners, analyzing every minute detail of the alien technology. Jin Wu, a brilliant materials engineer, held up a small alien energy component. "Their shield technology relies on quantum frequency disruption," he explained, "but it has a critical flaw in its molecular structure." The team worked with remarkable focus. Coffee cups sat forgotten, computer screens displayed complex mathematical equations, and the room hummed with concentrated energy. They weren't just studying the alien technology, they were preparing to transform it. Dr. Park understood something fundamental that the alien confederation had overlooked: human adaptability. Where other species saw rigid technological systems, humans saw opportunities for modification and improvement. Days turned into weeks. The research team developed prototype weapons that looked nothing like traditional human armaments. These were hybrid systems, part kinetic, part quantum, designed to exploit the tiny vulnerabilities in alien defensive networks. "We're not just creating weapons," Dr. Park told her lead engineer. "We're creating a message, a demonstration of human potential." Each prototype went through rigorous testing. Advanced computer simulations showed promising results. The weapons could penetrate alien shields with unprecedented efficiency, using a combination of physical force and quantum disruption that the aliens would never expect. The most promising design looked deceptively simple: a missile that could change its molecular density mid-flight, allowing it to adapt to different defensive frequencies. Traditional alien shields would simply fail to recognize it as a threat until it was too late. Military advisors watched the demonstrations with growing excitement. These weren't just weapons. They were a technological revolution that could change the entire approach to interstellar conflict. Jin Wu's breakthrough came during a late-night testing session. By introducing a specific carbon-based nanomaterial into the weapon's core, they could create a projectile that could essentially learn and adapt to defensive systems in real time. "It's like teaching a weapon to think," he explained, his eyes bright with excitement. "We're not just firing a projectile, we're sending a smart weapon that can make decisions." Dr. Park understood the deeper implications. This wasn't just about military technology. This was about proving human innovation, human creativity, the ability to turn apparent weakness into unexpected strength. Deliberately, they began leaking misinformation. Reports would suggest that human technology remained primitive, that they were still developing basic defensive capabilities. It was a calculated strategy of misdirection. The alien confederation believed humans were technologically inferior. They would soon learn how wrong they were. As weeks passed, the research facility transformed these prototypes into actual weapon systems. Each component was carefully designed, each system meticulously tested. The weapons looked nothing like traditional human armaments. They were elegant, almost artistic in their complexity. "We're not just preparing for war," Dr. Park told her team during one of their final briefings. "We're preparing to change how the universe sees humanity." The first batch of hybrid weapons was carefully packed and transported to a secure military installation. They looked innocent, almost unremarkable. But within each missile, each projectile, was the potential to rewrite the rules of interstellar conflict. Commander J. Kim would be waiting. And the alien confederation would soon understand that underestimating humans was the biggest mistake they could make. The technological response was ready. Humanity's message was about to be delivered, not with words, but with unprecedented technological brilliance. The first alien ships entered Earth's orbital zone with arrogant precision. Commander Tark believed victory was already assured. His fleet consisted of massive vessels that glimmered like dark crystals against the black space, each equipped with energy weapons capable of destroying entire continents. Commander Lee sat in the Human Defense Control Center, his fingers hovering over a complex control panel. Around him, military personnel moved with calculated efficiency. Holographic displays showed incoming alien vessel trajectories, each movement tracked with mathematical precision. Target acquisition protocol activated, a young technician announced. The aliens expected a traditional defense response. They anticipated energy shields, conventional missile systems, predictable military strategies. What they would receive was something entirely different. The first wave of hybrid missiles launched silently. From a distance, they looked like simple projectiles, but each missile contained a quantum-encrypted payload designed specifically to disrupt alien defensive networks. As the missiles approached, alien defense systems began their standard tracking protocols. They expected to neutralize these primitive human weapons easily. What happened next shocked the entire alien fleet. The missiles began to change. Their molecular structure shifted mid-flight, adapting to different defensive frequencies. Where alien shields expected a simple kinetic threat, they encountered a complex learning weapon system. The first alien vessel didn't even have time to fully activate its defensive mechanisms. The hybrid missile penetrated its shields like they were made of thin paper, delivering a precise strike that caused catastrophic internal damage. "Direct hit," Commander Lee said quietly. His voice remained calm, almost emotionless. Alien communication channels erupted in confusion. Commander Tark's voice could be heard screaming orders, his previous confidence replaced by panic. "Impossible," he shouted. "These are human weapons?" Each missile carried more than just destructive potential. They carried a message, a demonstration of human technological innovation that the alien confederation had completely underestimated. The human military had transformed every perceived weakness into a strategic advantage. Where aliens saw primitive technology, humans saw an opportunity for creative adaptation. More missiles launched. Each one was different, each programmed with unique penetration algorithms. They moved not in straight lines but in complex, unpredictable patterns that alien targeting systems couldn't comprehend. One by one, alien vessels began to fall, not through overwhelming firepower, but through intelligent, adaptive technological warfare. Dr. Hai Park watched the engagement from the research facility. Her team had spent months preparing these weapons, understanding every potential scenario. Now they were watching their theoretical designs become a devastating reality. "It's not about having the most powerful weapon," she explained to her colleagues. "It's about understanding the weakness in your opponent's system." The alien fleet's formation began to break. Vessels that moments ago looked invincible now appeared vulnerable, their advanced technology suddenly seeming obsolete against human innovation. Commander Tark's flagship became the primary target. As hybrid missiles approached, its defensive systems went into overdrive, attempting to counter a threat they couldn't understand. "Executing Protocol Thunderbolt," Commander Lee announced. The final set of missiles carried a special payload, not just designed to destroy but to send a clear message. Each carried encrypted data packages that would later be deciphered by the alien confederation, revealing the full extent of human technological capabilities. When the engagement ended, less than 30 minutes had passed. The orbital zone was filled with drifting alien vessel fragments, silent testimony to humanity's unexpected response. Communications intercepts revealed complete alien shock. Their technological superiority, something they had taken for granted for centuries, had been completely dismantled by a species they had mockingly considered primitive. Commander Lee allowed himself a small smile. The first strategic engagement had been decisive. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had made a statement that would echo across the galaxy. The message was clear: never underestimate human potential. As debris continued to drift in the cold silence of space, one thing became absolutely certain: the conflict had only just begun. The alien confederation was in complete disarray. Their once mighty fleet, which had conquered hundreds of star systems, now drifted as broken fragments across the orbital zone. Commander Tark's surviving ships retreated, their advanced technology suddenly looking fragile, and outdated. Captain J. Kim stood on the bridge of the human flagship, watching the tactical displays. The recent engagement had changed everything. What the aliens believed was a simple defensive encounter had become a complete transformation of interstellar warfare. Dr. Hy Park's team continued developing new weapon systems. Each design was more innovative than the last. They weren't just creating weapons, they were rewriting the fundamental understanding of technological warfare. The human military had discovered something profound. Their strength wasn't in having the most advanced technology, but in their ability to adapt, to learn, to transform weakness into strength. Alien communication intercepts revealed total confusion. Their military strategists couldn't comprehend how a species they had considered technologically inferior had dismantled their most advanced fleet so quickly. It's about flexibility, Dr. Park explained to her research team. We don't just build weapons, we build systems that can think, that can change, that can learn. The next phase of engagement would be crucial. Humanity needed to show the entire galaxy that the first victory wasn't a lucky strike. It was a fundamental shift in military strategy. Intelligence reports suggested the alien confederation was regrouping. They would be preparing a massive counterattack, believing they could overwhelm human defenses with sheer technological superiority. They were wrong. Captain Kim began preparing strategic defense protocols that would make their previous engagement look like a simple training exercise. Each military unit was given specific adaptive training. Soldiers weren't just taught to follow orders, they were taught to think, to adapt, to transform their approach in real time. The hybrid weapons developed earlier were just the beginning. New systems were being created that could change their entire molecular structure mid-battle. Missiles that could think, defensive shields that could learn. Weapons that were more like intelligent companions than simple tools of destruction. Alien scout ships began probing human defensive zones. Each time, they were met with unexpected resistance. Where they expected predictable responses, they encountered complex adaptive strategies that seemed to change moment by moment. Commander Lee's tactical team had developed something revolutionary. Their defense systems weren't just reactive, they were predictive. Using advanced quantum computing and machine learning, they could anticipate alien attack patterns before the aliens themselves knew their own strategies. We're not just defending, Commander Lee told his team. We're one step ahead. The Alien Confederation's technological overconfidence became their greatest weakness. They had spent centuries believing their systems were unbeatable. Humanity showed them how wrong they were. Each human military unit became a living, breathing, adaptive system. Soldiers were trained not just in traditional combat, but in rapid technological adaptation. They could modify equipment in real time, turn unexpected situations into strategic advantages. Dr. Park's research facility worked around the clock. They weren't just developing weapons. They were creating a new understanding of technological warfare. Each prototype was more incredible than the last. Captured alien technology became fuel for human innovation. Where the aliens saw their advanced systems as complete, humans saw them as starting points for something entirely new. The tactical transformation was about more than military strategy. It was about a fundamental approach to problem solving. Humanity wasn't trying to match alien technology. They were creating something entirely different. As alien fleet commanders prepared their next attack, they didn't realize how completely their understanding of warfare was about to be challenged. Captain Kim's final briefing to his military units was simple but powerful. They expect us to fight like we always have. We'll show them we can fight like they never imagined. The stage was set for a conflict that would redefine everything the galaxy understood about technological warfare. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was transforming the very nature of interstellar conflict. And the Alien Confederation was about to learn a lesson they would never forget. The final battle would be remembered as the moment humanity changed the course of galactic history. Alien territories stretched across multiple star systems, but they no longer seemed invincible. What once appeared to be an unbeatable civilization now looked fragile and vulnerable. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the command deck of the primary human flagship. Around him, a team of the most brilliant military strategists and technological experts watched multiple holographic displays. Each screen showed a different sector of the alien defensive network, their complex systems now laid bare by human intelligence. The alien Confederation had made a critical mistake. They believed their technological superiority was absolute. They didn't understand that human potential was their most dangerous weapon. Hybrid weapon systems developed by Dr. Hy Park's team moved like living entities through alien defensive zones. Each projectile carried multiple adaptive algorithms, capable of changing its approach millisecond by millisecond. Where traditional weapons would fail, these intelligent systems found impossible paths of destruction. Commander Tark's remaining fleet tried to mount a final resistance, but their communication systems were already compromised. Every signal, every strategic discussion was intercepted and analyzed by human intelligence networks. Target acquisition complete, a young technician announced, her voice calm and steady. The attack wasn't about overwhelming force. It was about precise, intelligent dismantling of an entire technological infrastructure. Human missiles didn't just destroy, they systematically neutralized alien defensive capabilities. Quantum-encrypted payloads penetrated alien mainframe systems. Critical communication networks collapsed. Defensive shields that had protected alien territories for centuries suddenly became useless. Dr. Park watched from the research facility. Her team had spent years preparing for this moment. They weren't just fighting a war, they were proving a fundamental truth about human innovation. Alien territories began to fall, not through brute force but through intelligent adaptive strategy. Each human attack was calculated, each movement designed to exploit the smallest technological weakness. The alien Confederation's communication channels became increasingly desperate. Commanders who once mocked human capabilities now begged for mercy, for negotiation, for any chance to survive. Admiral Rodriguez's message was clear and simple. You started this conflict. We are finishing it. Entire alien planetary systems went dark, not through complete destruction, but through precise technological neutralization. Communication networks collapsed. Defensive systems became useless. Advanced technologies that had taken centuries to develop were rendered obsolete in moments. Commander Lee's tactical teams moved with unprecedented efficiency. They weren't just destroying, they were systematically dismantling an entire civilization's technological infrastructure. The hybrid weapons carried more than destructive potential. They carried a message, a demonstration of what happens when a species is underestimated. Hours turned into days. The conflict that the alien Confederation believed would be a simple planetary annexation had transformed into a complete technological dismantling. Dr. Park's final report was both a scientific analysis and a statement of human potential. We didn't just win a war, she wrote. We demonstrated the power of adaptive intelligence. Alien territories that had once seemed unconquerable now looked like abandoned technological graveyards. Massive ships drifted without power. Planetary defense systems stood silent and useless. The final transmission from Earth was simple and direct. Never underestimate human potential. When the conflict ended, humanity had done more than win a war. They had fundamentally changed how the galaxy would understand technological warfare. Admiral Rodriguez's final report was brief but powerful. It would be studied by military academies across human territories for generations. We did not start this war. We ended it. Not through overwhelming force, but through human innovation, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit of determination. The universe had learned a critical lesson. Humanity was not a species to be conquered or underestimated. As silence settled across the now neutralized alien territories, one thing became absolutely certain. Everything had changed.